Hello, in this video, we're going to summarize the book, The 48 Laws of Power, by Robert Greene. This book is a collection of 48 laws that have been used by some of the most powerful people in history to achieve the goals. Greene draws on history, philosophy, and psychology to explain the laws and how they can be used to gain power and influence. I'm going to have to leave out some of the details. If you want to learn more, I encourage you to read the book and enjoy it even more. Law 1. Never outshine the master. The first law of power is to never outshine your master. This means that you should always be careful not to make yourself look better than the person in charge. If you do, you will make them feel insecure and they will likely try to sabotage you. Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. The second law of power is to never put too much trust in friends. This means that you should always be aware that your friends may not be as loyal as you think they are. They may be willing to betray you if it benefits them. Law 3. Conceal your intentions. The third law of power is to conceal your intentions. This means that you should never let anyone know what you are planning. If you do, they will be able to prepare for you and you will be less likely to succeed. Law 4. Always say less than necessary. The fourth law of power is to always say less than necessary. This means that you should be careful not to say too much. If you do, you may say something that you regret or that can be used against you. Law 5. So much depends on reputation, guard it with your life. The fifth law of power is to guard your reputation with your life. This means that you should be careful about what you say and do. If you damage your reputation, it will be very difficult to repair. Law 6. Court attention at all cost. The sixth law of power is to court attention at all cost. This means that you should always be trying to get people to notice you. If you can do this, you will be more likely to achieve your goals. Law 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. The seventh law of power is to get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. This means that you should be careful not to do too much yourself. If you do, you will not be able to delegate and you will not be able to build a team of loyal followers. Law 8. Make other people come to you, use bait if necessary. The eighth law of power is to make other people come to you. This means that you should be careful not to chase people. If you do, you will appear desperate and people will be less likely to want to be around you. Law 9. Win through your actions, never through argument. The ninth law of power is to win through your actions, never through argument. This means that you should be careful not to get into arguments. If you do, you will only make yourself look weak and people will be less likely to take you seriously. Law 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. The 10th law of power is to avoid the unhappy and unlucky. This means that you should be careful not to spend too much time around people who are negative or who seem to be having bad luck. If you do, you may start to feel the same way. Law 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. The 11th law of power is to learn to keep people dependent on you. This means that you should be careful not to make yourself too dispensable. If you do, people will be less likely to value you and they may be more likely to leave you. Law 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. The 12th law of power is to use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. This means that you should be careful not to be too honest or too generous. If you are, people will start to suspect that you have an ulterior motive. Law 13. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. This law is all about understanding what motivates people. When you ask for help, you should appeal to people's self-interest. This means that you should offer them something in return for their help. It could be something tangible, like money or a favor, or it could be something intangible, like praise or respect. If you appeal to people's mercy or gratitude, they are less likely to help you. This is because they may feel like they are being taken advantage of. They may also feel like they owe you something, which can create a power imbalance. By appealing to people's self-interest, you are more likely to get the help you need. You are also more likely to build relationships with people who are willing to help you in the future. Law 14. Pose as a friend, work as a spy. This law is all about gathering information. When you pose as a friend, people are more likely to trust you and tell you things. You can then use this information to your advantage. Law 15. Crush your enemy totally. This law is all about eliminating your enemies. If you leave them alive, they will only come back to haunt you. Law 16. Use absence to increase respect and honor. This law is all about creating mystery. When you are absent, people will wonder what you are up to. This will make them more interested in you and more likely to respect you. Law 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. This law is all about keeping people guessing. When you are unpredictable, people will be less likely to know what to expect from you. This will make them more cautious and more likely to respect you. Law 18. Do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. This law is all about building relationships. When you isolate yourself, you will become vulnerable. You need to build relationships with people who can help you and protect you. Law 19. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. This law is all about understanding people. When you understand people, you can avoid offending them. This will help you build relationships and gain power. Law 20. Do not commit to anyone or anything. This law is all about staying flexible. When you commit to something, you limit your options. You need to stay flexible so that you can take advantage of opportunities as they arise. Law 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. This law is all about deception. When you seem dumber than your mark, they will underestimate you. This will give you an advantage. Law 22. Use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. This law is all about turning weakness into strength. When you surrender, you appear weak. However, this can be a powerful tactic. It can disarm your enemies and give you an advantage. Law 23. Concentrate your forces. This law is all about focus. When you focus your energy on one thing, you are more likely to succeed. Law 24. Play the perfect courtier. This law is all about flattery. When you flatter people, they will like you and be more likely to help you. Law 25. Recreate yourself, reinvent yourself. This law is all about change. When you change, you become more interesting and more powerful. Law 26. Keep your hands clean. This law is all about avoiding blame. When you avoid blame, you will be more likely to succeed. Law 27. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. This law is all about manipulation. When you create a cult-like following, you will have power over people. Law 28. Enter action with boldness. This law is all about taking risks. When you take risks, you are more likely to succeed. Law 29. Plan all the way to the end. This law is all about thinking ahead. When you plan ahead, you are more likely to succeed. Law 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. This law is all about humility. When you make your accomplishments seem effortless, people will be more impressed. Law 31. Control the options. Get others to play with the cards you deal. This law is all about manipulation. When you control the options, you have power over people. Law 32. Play to people's fantasies. This law is all about appealing to people's desires. When you appeal to people's desires, you can get them to do what you want. Law 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew. This law is all about finding people's weaknesses. When you find people's weaknesses, you can use them to control them. Law 34. Be royal in your fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. This law is all about projecting power. When you project power, people will respect you and treat you like a king. Law 35. Master the art of timing. This law is all about knowing when to act. When you master the art of timing, you will be more likely to succeed. Law 36. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. This law is all about not letting your enemies get to you. When you disdain things you cannot have, you are taking away their power over you. Law 37. Create compelling spectacles. This law is all about using drama to get attention. When you create compelling spectacles, people will be more likely to remember you and take you seriously. Law 38. Think as you like but behave like others. This law is all about conforming to society. When you think as you like but behave like others, you will be more likely to succeed. Law 39. Stir up waters to catch fish. This law is all about creating chaos. When you create chaos, you can take advantage of the situation and get what you want. Law 40. Despise the free lunch. This law is all about not being taken advantage of. When you despise the free lunch, you will be more likely to protect yourself from being taken advantage of. Law 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. This law is all about not trying to be someone you're not. When you avoid stepping into a great man's shoes, you will be more likely to succeed. Law 42. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. This law is all about taking out the leader. When you take out the leader, you can take control of the situation. Law 43. Work on the hearts and minds of others. This law is all about persuasion. When you work on the hearts and minds of others, you can get them to do what you want. Law 44. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. This law is all about using reverse psychology. When you disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect, you can get people to do what you want. Law 45. Preach the need for change but never reform too much at once. This law is all about pacing yourself. When you preach the need for change but never reform too much at once, you will be more likely to succeed. Law 46. Never appear too perfect. This law is all about showing your flaws. When you never appear too perfect, people will be more likely to trust you. Law 47. Do not go past the mark you aimed for. In victory, learn when to stop. This law is all about knowing when to quit. When you do not go past the mark you aimed for, you will be more likely to succeed. Law 48. Assume formlessness. This law is all about being adaptable. When you assume formlessness, you will be more likely to succeed. These rules are a collection of strategies that have been used by some of the most powerful people in history to achieve their goals. Greene draws on history, philosophy, and psychology to explain the laws and how they can be used to gain power and influence. It is important to note that these laws are not always ethical. Some of them can be used to manipulate and control others. It is up to the individual to decide how they want to use these laws. Thank you for watching, and see you in other book summaries.